Thank you for listening to Inspired and Admired.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Inspired and Admired. My name is Matt Truman. This is episode number 18. Today, my guest is Andy Hill. He is running for the Ward 4 seat in the city of Huber Heights. He'll be running against Carl Urbanus Sr. Today, Andy and I have a very nice discussion. Talk about, I throw the questions that I've been asking the other candidates, and we have a good discussion about that. If you have been paying attention or if you've been visiting the website in the city of Huber Heights, that has changed. I was on there today checking out some meetings, looking things up, just taking a gander, and they changed it. It looks really nice, and check that out. It looks like it's easier to navigate than the older website, so good job on getting that done. Anywho, looking through some of the ballot language that you folks are going to see, you can look at a sample ballot on the Montgomery County Board of Elections website. It looks to see there's issue 1, which is rights for crime victims. Issue 2, to require state agencies to not pay more for prescription drugs than Federal Department of Veteran Affairs, and require state payment of attorney fees and expenses to specific individuals for defense of the law. Read through all that. Issue 3 is proposed tax levy for Montgomery County. Issue 4, proposed tax levy. It's a renewal for Sinclair Community College District. Issue 39, proposed bond issues and tax levy, Miami Valley Career Technology Vocational School District. Get on the Montgomery County Board of Elections website, search your ballots, and you'll be able to read all that, and then check out, if you want to learn more, then, just get on the old Google and do some research for that. So when you go in to the polls on November 7th, you know exactly what you're voting for and why you're voting for it. With that said, let's get to the podcast with Andy Hill. Here we go. Hello, everyone. I am here with Andy Hill. He is running for the Ward 4 seat in the city of Huber Heights. Andy, thank you for joining Inspired and Admired.
Oh, thank you for having me.
All right. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you grew up, and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised Huber Heights. I grew up, the first couple of years of my life, I was in Ward 5, and then I moved up to Ward 2, and then 6, and now I'm in Ward 4. So, and that's going to be that's our plan is for that to be our forever home. So,
Yeah.
But lived in Huber all my life. I do IT work out on the base. I've done that for 15 years now.
Okay.
Not on base, but, various different places, and now I'm on base, and I really like working there. And so, yeah.
Good deal. So what made you decide to run for Huber Heights City Council?
Well, I have always kind of been, watching what's going on in Huber Heights and what's happening, those kind of things, and just keeping an eye on things. And when I heard that Judy was not going to run, that's when I decided to go ahead and put my hat in the ring. I didn't want to run against Judy. I like Judy, and I think she's doing a great job. But when I heard that she was going to retire, I thought, you know what, who else but me? So I went ahead and put my hat out there. Good
deal. Yeah, I like Judy a lot. I grew up with her son. My brother grew up with her older son, so Judy's a good lady. And has served Huber Heights well. So she's
yes, she has.
She's done her duty. Now she gets to enjoy retirement. So that's good for her.
That's right.
Couple of questions I have for you. The first one is, what do you think Huber Heights needs work on? What do you think? The last few episodes I've talked to the folks running for mayor. They don't normally have a vote unless there's a tie. You're running for Ward 4, and you'll be voting quite a bit. So what do you think needs work on, and where are you going to focus? Yeah.
I think that our big thing for Huber Heights is communication, and a lot of people don't know what's going on, and I think that there's different ways, especially through like social media and things like that. I think we're getting better. You're seeing a lot more posts on social media about what's going on, but I also think the communication from City Hall could be better for, especially things like the charter amendments that went on back in March and October, or May and October, sorry. And that's really not November. Anyway, getting my months messed up. But anyway, so I think, communication, being able to get people to know what's going on, not only in politics, but in the city in general, what businesses are coming in. And I think that growing businesses and trying to get more unique businesses is probably a good thing that the city could be doing a little bit better job at.
Elaborate on that. Unique businesses. What do you...
So more of your mom and pop. We're getting a lot of car washes is the big thing right now because we're getting one of those coming up, and some people are like, "Well, we've got a bunch of car washes already," and I can totally get that. And the running joke sometimes on social media is that we've got all sorts of different donut shops and pizza parlors, and if a new place is coming in, it's probably a pizza parlor. And so, I'd like to see a little more variety, mom and pop, your smaller places, not try to get the bigger companies, but, look for places that are more unique, more pinpointed towards things.
Sure.
So I think that a lot of people are looking more for those local kind of places.
Yeah, that sounds good. So what do you think Huber Heights is doing well right now? What do you think the city government's doing well?
Well, I think that the fact that we're actually having festivals again, in the last 5 years, we started having the 4th of July and the Marigold. And I think that bringing that kind of stuff back into the community and having people come out and be able to get together, the movie nights, things like that. I think we're doing a really great job with that. Backing the community when things come up like the cell phone tower. I know that there's a lot of stuff to go with that. But, being able to say when a citizen comes to you and says, we want you to back us up on this, and the city actually says, okay, we'll do that. I think that's important.
Right. Yeah, that was one of the questions I was going to raise is what your thoughts were on the cell phone tower issue that was just city council had voted not to accept the settlement. So, right. and it's mainly, I believe it comes from the standpoint of property rights for the individual resident. So talk about that a little bit. Tell us where you stand with property rights, and if you want to elaborate more on the cell phone tower issue, that's fine as well.
Sure. I think that it's very important that you should be able to know that you own this property, and that property is yours to do with what you will. And I don't think that anybody should be able to impede on that ability, especially when it comes to something like a cell phone tower. If you look at all of the information that's out there about this, there's plenty of room that if the church wanted to, they could move it into the center of their property, and it wouldn't impede on either side. And I think that that's something that I would like to see the church do. And I don't have a say in that, but
sure.
But if I was the church, that would be my choice to move it in the middle. I understand that they have that need and that ability to use that space for a cell phone tower, but working with your neighbors and that kind of thing, I think, is important.
Sure.
Whether it's a church or not.
Right.
I also think that it's important for the city to be able to say, hey, we will stand with you, that this is definitely, your property should be protected, and so we are going to stand with you to try to protect your property as much as we can.
Right. And being for the freedom for a person to do what they would like on their own property, as long as it doesn't impede on another person's property.
Right.
I'm all for that, yeah. Let's see here. Social media. There's a lot of activity on social media. This is a question I've been asking all the candidates as well. Where do you stand on social media? Do you think there needs to be adjustments? How are you going to use social media if elected? Where are you at with social media?
I think that social media is very important. I think that, as our population changes and we bring in more millennials and more of Gen X, Gen Y people, into our city, we're going to need to be able to engage them in different ways, because we don't have, I don't have a wired phone. I don't typically get a lot of mail that's not junk mail or something to do with, like a Kohl's charge, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So I think that social media is very important, but I also think that we need to be careful. I think that it's a good idea for us to, as a city, to be engaging people with social media. I think that it's great that Scott's out there and he's posting about stuff that's going on, and we've got other, ward and mayoral people putting things out there that this is what's going on out in the city. Come out, join us. Let's do some things as a community. But I also think that when it comes to engagement with citizens, I think that we need to be careful, because we should not be getting into tiffs, fights, anything like that, because that not only doesn't look good for the candidate, or not the candidate, sorry, for the council people and the mayor and the city as a whole, but it just doesn't look good to people who are thinking about coming into our community. I know of a guy that used to live next to my parents, and he, when he considered moving to a different state, he got onto a bunch of boards for the cities that he was looking at, because his job was moving, and he said, I chose the city based on the way that their social media was conducted. And I think that's a lot of people are going to do that. And so, we need to be civil about things, make sure that we get our information out to people, but not get into fights and stuff like that on social media.
Sure. What do you think about a debate without, sticking to the issues? What do you think about, just having, here's why? There are some council members who do argue and kind of have that, but there are others who will tell you their side of the story. Here's where I stand. This is, and just break it down like that. There may be others who disagree, and they may disagree with the opinion. Mm-hmm. You okay with that?
Yeah, I think that that's fine. Stating your opinion and stating why you're standing the way that you are is important, and I don't see an issue with that. The issue becomes when somebody goes in and attacks your opinion, and then you rebut. And
all right, we lost Andy. Give me 1 second. All right, we are back. Sorry about that, Andy. I don't know what happened, but we're back, and we were talking about social media, so go ahead.
Okay, so I think that I'll start at the part where we were talking about whether or not people should be able to state their opinion. I completely agree that they should be allowed to state their opinion, and I think that it's important that they should be able to tell people why they voted or why they're going to vote the way that they are. It's the big issue is when somebody then attacks them or says something snarky to them, and then they come back. I think that it's important that all of us should be able to say, okay, this is my opinion, this is the way that I feel about this and how I'm going to vote, and then just leave it at that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I think that we should, with that, as everybody should be more careful about that, because you are representing yourself, and so when you give in to somebody that is attacking you, you open yourself up to a lot more things, and that's not good all around.
No, it's not. It's not good for them. It's not good for the city. It's not good for the image.
Exactly.
And then it opens up the door for more, arguments and things that it's not even needed. Talk about the issue. If you disagree, work it out. Listen. That's important. Listening to what others have to say, and then move on.
Right.
That I'm with you. So, social media. November and May, there were some charter amendments voted on. In May, the charter amendment for the city manager residency requirement. This is also another hot topic issue that I've talked about all the candidates with. Where do you stand on that? The voters voted to keep the language that the city manager should be required to live in the city. Where are you sitting on that issue?